So we are starting a new series, guys. We're going to be in it for 12 weeks. So 12 weeks of a new series. And the series that we're in is going to be God's attributes. Okay. So first I kind of want to explain why we're doing it. And in order to do it, I want some audience participation. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. I want you to first think of 5 qualities that you deeply appreciate in a person and that you must have in your future spouse. Okay, so think of 5 characteristics or qualities that your future spouse must have. So 5, and obviously they're going to be positive, right? So think of 5 positive qualities. Okay, hopefully it's positive for you. So give me some examples. Give me one quality that you have. So anybody can volunteer. Yeah, what's one quality that's important to you?
Not dumb.
Okay, so not dumb.
Yo, that's crazy.
So how about smart? Smart / not. Is it more important for them not to be dumb, or do they have to be smart?
Not slow, basically.
Okay. So
What's slow?
yeah. So
Up to Kevin.
okay. So not slow. Okay. So we got that. All right. What's another quality that's important to you? Yep.
Slow to anger.
Slow to anger. Why is that important to you?
Because he's fast.
No, because are you saying your wife is going to get easily angered all the time at you?
Maybe.
Okay. All right, gotcha. All right, how about a young lady? How about one of you young ladies? What's an important characteristic in a spouse for you? That's a must-have. They must have a certain positive characteristic. What is that for you? Jesse, what is that for you? Patient? Okay, so kind of slow to anger. All right, sure. All right, and then Katie or Irene, what about you? What's one? Loyal, okay, so they gotta be loyal, okay. All right, some gentlemen over here on this side of the room, yeah.
Shares love.
Shares love.
We share a mutual love for each other.
Okay, so loving, sure, let's say loving. All right, what's another must-have characteristic in a spouse? Over here.
Competent.
Competent, okay, sure. Competence is a little bit different than smart or not dumb.
No, but not slow, basically.
Yeah,
Well,
sure.
I mean, you can be competent, but still slow.
All right, Ryan, how about you? What's a must-have characteristic in a spouse? So that's a bad characteristic, right?
Spartan.
Consistent or faithful?
Okay, you gotta be faithful. We got that kind of. Yeah, go ahead.
Openly communicative.
Okay, so communicative. Okay, sure, we'll just say that. Okay, yeah.
I think wise.
Wise. Okay. Yeah, wisdom is a little bit different than smarts, right? Okay, well, how about 2 more? Yeah. Accountable. Okay. So what do you mean by accountable? Willing to admit wrong type of deal, or what?
Yeah, if they do something wrong, they're not going to shift the blame on me.
Okay, sure. All right, one last characteristic. How about one of you gentlemen back there, sitting back there in the last row? What's a quality in a spouse that's really important to you? Leadership? Oh, companionship. So they got to be a good friend. Okay, so companionship. Sure. All right. And then let's do the opposite. All right, so what are icks? Icks are no, this would be a deal breaker. They cannot be this way. So give me your best shot. What's a ick? They cannot be this way.
They don't make money.
What? Wait, what?
So okay.
Wait, you're gonna make your spouse work? You're gonna work your spouse?
You're the work hard, bro.
You're gonna work your spouse?
Hey, let's not judge him. This is his list. He needs this in his spouse. So it's cool. Yeah.
A person who says as he/she should.
Wait, what? I don't understand what you mean.
Oh.
It's
Keeps
it's
their
when
word.
they say as he should or as she should. More
As he should.
Oh.
Ungrateful, ungrateful.
Entitled.
Or entitled, yeah.
Oh, entitled? Okay,
Right?
sure. I don't know what you
Yeah.
mean. Yeah, sure. Why not? Entitled.
Kinda, yeah.
Okay. All right. So what else is a deal breaker? Yeah.
Arrogance.
Arrogant. Okay. So you don't like arrogance. All right. What else? Let's get to 10. Yep.
Manipulative.
Manipulative.
No werewolf again.
Yeah, too much werewolf for Julie. For sure. Okay, I'm gonna have someone over here. What's like a deal breaker? Yep.
Mainly hangs out with other guys.
Ooh. Hangs out with other guys. Okay.
That's awful.
That's optional. Okay. Yeah. What's another? Yep. Go ahead.
Has no friends.
Has no friends. Wow. You got some high standards. High standards for sure.
High standard.
Okay. Yeah, and then what are some others? Yep.
Lazy.
Lazy. Okay, so you won't stand for a lazy girl, I guess. Okay, and then Ryan?
Looks for like the attention of others.
Okay, attention seeking. Okay, two more.
Works at Palantir.
That's a deal breaker for you?
She's a spy.
She's a spy. Yeah. All right, yeah, Mike, go ahead.
You get it?
Bad attitude. In what way does she have a bad attitude?
Like if you ask them to do something and they give you bad attitude about it.
Okay, sure. And one last one. Misha, I know you got one. What's like a deal breaker for you? Like a characteristic? All right, Henry, help him out. You just got here. What's a deal breaker? Like, what's an ick that you cannot have in like someone of the opposite sex for you to consider for marriage or dating or whatever? Huh? Like, what's an ick? What's an ick for you that you're like, hey, I don't want this characteristic in a future girlfriend or spouse or anything?
Disrespectful.
Disrespectful. Oh,
family.
okay.
To family.
Oh, disrespectful to family.
What about to you? It's a family
You'd be considered family, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, all right. Okay, so let's first go over some of these positive qualities, right? So I'm trying to make an analogy for why understanding God's attributes are important. So let's think about this for a second. So if someone is smart, how does that change the way that you interact with them?
You believe what they say?
Okay, maybe you believe what they say because they're like, hey, this guy's gets good grades on his tests and maybe I should copy his answers rather than my own answers, right? So you believe what they say. Yeah, how else does being smart affect the way that you act towards them? Yep.
I'm like same wavelength, as in like it's easier to communicate with them. And
Okay.
you're not either wasting energy or like they're wasting energy.
Yeah, sometimes when you're talking to a dumb person, you're like, oh my gosh, you're like, I gotta spend so much effort talking to them, make it real simple, right? Yeah, okay.
Kind of what he said. You expect them to understand about whatever you say.
Okay, hey, maybe you expect them to understand now because they're smart and they kind of get it, right? Okay, so let's take another attribute. How about like loyal? If someone is loyal, how does that change the way that you interact with them? Or that you act towards them? Yep.
You're much more trusting.
Okay, so you trust them more because they're like, hey, I know that this girl isn't going to cheat behind my back, right? Yep.
A lot more honest.
Maybe you're more honest with them because, hey, like they're loyal, so even if you make mistakes, you can admit your mistakes and they're loyal, they're faithful, right? Yep.
Like feel more comfortable or like at home.
Okay, maybe you feel more comfortable or at home with them. Yeah, you don't have this sense like they're just going to abandon you at any moment in time. Okay, let's do like two more. If someone is a good companion, so let's say someone is really good at companionship, how does that change the way that you interact with them? Yep.
I feel like you're gaining energy when you hang out with them instead of losing it.
Okay, so it's a joy to hang out with them rather than feeling like you're getting drained by hanging out with them? Sure. So what else? How does it change the way you interact with them if they're a good companion? Yep.
You look forward to going home?
Okay, you look forward to seeing them and you want to hang out with them perhaps? Okay, yep. Yep.
You yourself are less like stressed or like tenseful around them.
Okay, so you're less stressed around them because, hey, you can just kind of let your guard down. Like, you know that they got your back. You know that they're for you. You know that they're with you. Yeah. And then let's do the opposite. So let's talk about icks. So let's say that someone is super manipulative. How does that change the way that you interact with them? Yep.
Absolutely no trust in what they say.
Okay, you cannot trust what they say. You doubt everything about
You
them.
wouldn't know
Sure.
that because they're manipulative.
That's a catch-22. It's a catch-22. For real. Yeah. How else does it change the way you interact with someone if you know that they're manipulative?
Like, try to understand their intentions.
Okay, maybe you don't trust everything at face value. Maybe always have to check their work or what they say because you don't trust them, so there's a lack of trust. Okay? How about a few more? If someone's lazy, how does that change the way that you interact with them?
I'll like do everything for them.
Okay, you feel like this weight of responsibility on your shoulders, like, oh my gosh, they're so lazy, I gotta do everything for them. Yep, Irene?
Same thing.
Okay, same thing. Yeah, or, go ahead.
It makes you lazy.
Maybe it makes you lazier, because, yeah, that person's lazier as well. Yeah, people rub off on each other, sure. Yeah, how else does it change the way you interact with someone if you know that they're especially lazy? Yep.
You lose faith in them when you like ask them to do stuff.
Sure, yeah, you lose faith in them. You're like, are they going to do it? Probably not, right? That's kind of your mindset, okay? How about if someone is hangs out with other guys? How does that, like, and obviously vice versa, if you're a girl, right? Like a boy that hangs out with a lot of girls, how does that change the way you interact with them based on that? Yep.
You don't feel as much like exclusivity or love.
Okay, maybe you don't feel as much love. Maybe you don't feel like this thing's exclusive. Okay, how else does it change the way that you interact with them?
You don't know if the kid is yours.
Yeah, sure. You are the father. For sure. Anyone else have any other thoughts? How does it change the way you interact with someone if, yeah?
So from my own personal experience,
Uh-huh.
not bad. I think so. It makes me more kind of tolerant. Like I have to be more tolerant, or like.
Okay. You have to be more tolerant of them. You have to be more open to maybe more of an open relationship. Yeah. Okay.
I feel like if, for example, in my case, if my partner had guy friends,
Uh-huh.
I would I would kind of feel a little more comfortable because they know how guys act, so they're more understanding of my behavior.
Okay, so for you, it's not a negative. You're saying it's a positive thing.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, we'll do one more. How about we do? All right, if someone is arrogant or prideful, how does that change the way that you interact with them? Yep.
They always think they're like better than you.
Okay, they think that they're better than you. Yeah, and how does that change the way that you act towards them?
It's like they have authority over you.
Okay, maybe you're like, oh my gosh, like I'm always under the authority. Yep. Someone else raise their hand over here. Yeah.
You feel like you'll never reach any mutual ground.
Okay, yeah, you'll just never feel like you'll ever be able to like see eye to eye on some things. Sure. How else does it change the way you interact with someone if you know that they're arrogant or prideful? Yep.
Makes me want to humble them.
Makes you want to humble them. Okay, sure, yeah. Okay, anyone else have a final thought here? If someone's arrogant, how does it change the way that you interact with them?
You don't want to talk to them anymore.
Yeah, you don't want to talk to them anymore, perhaps, because why do you not want to talk to them anymore if they're arrogant?
Because it's just annoying to like continue to hear them talk about themselves, and also them put you down as well.
Okay, yeah, maybe you just feel put down by them. Maybe they're just always about themselves, right? They're not ever thinking about you. Yeah. So, when we look at this, right, like hopefully you all have friends and eventually you have boyfriends or girlfriends that like have all these positive qualities, right? And if people have these icks, what do? We isolate ourselves from them, we stop being their friend, we break up with them, they exit our lives, right? So does people's attributes that they have, does it genuinely affect your relationship with them? Yeah, it does, right? So it's no different, guys, when it comes to understanding who God is, okay? And the argument is, if we understand God in the wrong way, it'll cause us to act differently towards him in a way that he doesn't intend, right? Like if you view God as someone who is stingy, someone who is not generous, it changes the way that you pray. It changes the way that you worship him. It changes the way that you serve him. If you believe that God is unkind or does not care about you, that also changes the way that you interact with God. Vice versa, if you view God in the right way, that in a lot of different ways will change the way that you serve him and change the way in terms of how you feel about him, how you think about him, and how you will, whether or not you will obey him or not. So it makes a world of difference. Okay, it genuinely does. And so theology or proper understanding of the doctrines of God and the attributes of God is of the highest importance, of the very highest importance. It determines whether or not you worship God, you seek God, you love God, and whether or not you will interact with God properly and view the world properly as God intended. So that's why we're doing this series on the attributes of God, because it affects everything. It affects your entire life. It'll affect your entire Christian life. And the example that I can commonly give is this. If someone writes a letter to me and says, "Hey, Aaron, I love the fact that you're a 7-foot black guy and that you were into NBA and that you were dunking on kids and you live such a great legacy. You're better than Kobe Bryant. I love that you're married to a black woman who is also 7 feet tall and in the WNBA. I love how you give out millions of dollars and Ferraris to all your friends or whatever," right? If I get a letter like this, when I read the letter, am I like, woo, like someone thinks really highly of me? Is that what I'm thinking? Probably not, right? What am I thinking? I'm probably thinking, hey, someone's addressed this to the wrong person, right? Like maybe this was for like LeBron or something, right? But certainly it wasn't for me. And so in that same way, if we misunderstand who God is and what he's really like, even though we worship him, so to speak, if it's not based on the truth, then it actually doesn't matter. And that's what's really essential. And so as we spend this week and the next 11 weeks in the attributes of God, the whole idea is for your picture of God to become crystal clear, for your picture of God to be biblically rooted and grounded, so you really understand who he's like and what he's like, and that you respond to him properly. So that's what we got going on for the next 11 weeks. Today, what we're going to talk about is the omniscience of God. And if you don't know what that word means, omniscience, it means the fact that God is all-knowing. So that's kind of where we find ourselves. Let's go to Psalm 139. Let's read the chapter together, and then we'll talk about some ideas. All right? So let's start in verse 1, and let's go to verse 24. Okay? Let's start in verse 1. "O Lord, you have searched me and known me. You know when I sit down and when I rise up. You discern my thoughts from afar. You search out my path and my lying down. You are acquainted with all my ways. Even before a word is on my tongue, behold, O Lord, you know it altogether. You hem me in, behind and before, and lay your hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me. It is high, I cannot attain it. Where shall I go from your spirit, or where shall I flee from your presence? If I ascend to heaven, you are there. If I make my bed in Sheol, you are there. If I take the wings of the morning and dwell in the uttermost parts of the sea, even there your hand shall lead me, and your right hand shall hold me. If I say, surely the darkness shall cover me, and the light about me be night, even the darkness is not dark to you. The night is bright as the day, for darkness is as light with you. For you formed my inward parts. You knitted me together in my mother's womb. I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Wonderful are your works. My soul knows it very well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was being made in secret, intricately woven in the depths of the earth. Your eyes saw my unformed substance. In your books were written, every one of them, the days that were formed for me, when as yet there was none of them. How precious to me are your thoughts, O God. How vast is the sum of them. If I would count them, they are more than the sand. I awake and I am still with you. Oh, that you would slay the wicked, O God. O men of blood, depart from me. They speak against you with malicious intent. Your enemies take your name in vain. Do I not hate those who hate you, O Lord? And do I not loathe those who rise up against you? I hate them with complete hatred. I count them my enemies. Search me, O God, and know my heart. Try me and know my thoughts, and see if there be any grievous way in me, and lead me in a way everlasting. All right, so we're talking about the omniscience of God. And again, as a reminder of what God's omniscience means, it means that God knows everything and knows all. Where do we see that in this verse? Especially in verses 1 to 6, we see this, right? You have searched me, known me, you know when I sit down and when I rise up. You discern my thoughts from afar. You search out my path, my lying down, and are acquainted with all my ways. Even before a word is on my tongue, behold, O Lord, you know it altogether. You hem me in behind and before, and lay your hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me. It is high, I cannot attain it. So in what ways do we see God knowing all things? And what does that mean that God knows all things? I think it means a couple things. Number one, God knows all actual events, past, present, and future, exhaustively and without error. That's the first point. So God knows everything that has ever happened. God knows everything that will happen. And God knows right now exactly what's happening. He knows it all completely. That's what it says. Here in this verse, David is talking about how whether I sit up or whether I rise down, whether I lay, before I even speak, he knows. Even before a word is on my tongue, he knows. And he says, such knowledge is too wonderful for me. It is high, I cannot attain it. And so, in anything that has happened through all of human history, does God know about it? Yes. Anything that is happening right now, does God know about it? Yes. Anything that is happening in the future and will happen in the future, does God know about it? Absolutely. And the same thing applies for you as well. For us, we're human beings, right? And we have tiny, tiny little brains. How many things can you remember all at once? Probably not. Like, how many thoughts can you have at the same time? Like, only so many. Maybe like 3 thoughts. How many tabs can you have open at Google at the same time? Yeah. So, hey, do you guys remember your history class in 9th grade where you learned about U.S. history? Do you remember all the things that you ever learned in your textbook? Probably not. When you were in world history in 10th grade, do you remember all the stuff that you read, all the exams that you had, and all that historical events? Do you remember that? No. Why not? Because none of us have an eidetic memory, I think, right? None of us do, right? Okay. And then secondly, even if you did, your tiny brain could not have remembered all that stuff up to today. That's the problem, right? But here's the thing. God is infinite, and his knowledge is infinite, and he knows everything that has happened, everything that is happening, and everything that will happen. He knows your past in its entirety. He knows your thoughts. He knows your feelings. He knows your intentions, what you intended to do, and he also knows all your actions that you have ever committed in your entire life. Now, if you think about that, imagine if someone knew absolutely everything about you. Like, let's say the friend to your left or your friend to your right, imagine that they knew every single moment you were ever awake. What would you think of that person? How would you interact with that person? What do you think?
I would run away.
You'd run away? So why would you run away?
They know too much.
They know too much, okay? Sure? Yep. How else would you feel if the person next to you knew everything there is to possibly know about you? Since the moment that you were born to now and even your future.
Curious.
You'd be curious? Why you'd be curious?
Because even I don't know anything.
Okay, so you'd be curious. Hey, what do you know? Yeah, sure. Okay, what else? If your friend next to you knew everything about you, how would that make you feel? Yep.
Super scared
Super scared. Why would it scare you?
because I'm ashamed of my past.
Okay,
And
sure.
my present.
Sure, yeah. So here's the thing as well. When it says that God is omniscient, what it means as well is that God also knows all possibilities. Okay? There's movies that come out that talk about like alternative universes, right? Or multiverses, so to speak. And there's this whole theory that like there's a variety of multiverses, and we're just one of many multiverses. And so maybe there's an Aaron out there that's black, right? Maybe there's an Aaron out there that's Mexican. Maybe there's an Aaron out there that's white. Maybe there's an Aaron out there that's got aborted, right? Maybe there's an Aaron out there that is not married, right? And so there's all these versions, right? And so there's this theory that there's all these multiverses, and we're just in one of many. But here's the reality: there is just one world. But God knows about all the infinite amount of possibilities. That's kind of crazy, right? And that's interesting to think about. God knows all and knows all the potential that we have as well. What's crazy here in this verse too is that it's not just that God knows all of history, but he knows what we're thinking. If someone next to you knew what you were thinking, what would you think of them? Yeah. What would you think of them? Or what would you say to them?
Bro, you're the greatest guy ever, bro.
So you glaze them like, please don't expose me? Okay, yeah. What else would you think if the person next to you knew all that you're thinking even at this moment right now? Yeah, Jerry, you got an answer?
He'd be stunned by the infinity.
He'd be like, I can't believe that Jerry's thinking about this right now. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, to get into your mind for a second, yeah, that would definitely be a trip. Not gonna lie. Yeah.
They'd be able to catch like all the ball you throw.
Okay, they'd be able to truly understand you and get you, right? Yeah, even when your jokes don't land with everyone else, if it's funny to you, they'll understand that it's funny, right? Yeah, definitely. In addition, God's knowledge is also complete and unchanging, meaning we're never able to catch God off guard, right? Now, some of you have surprised your parents before in life, right? What's like a big surprise you've ever thrown at your parents or your family before? So what's one?
I'm not going to school.
So you showed up to your dad and said, I'm not going to school. And how was your dad surprised? How do you know he was surprised?
I didn't tell
No, I know, but like...
them. They
in his-
expected me to go back to school.
Okay. So what did they do in their reaction when you told them
He actually didn't seem that surprised, so.
that? So maybe he wasn't surprised. Yeah, sure. So what's like a surprise you've ever laid on your parents before or your family before? You're like, surprise! Or even your friends. Let's add your friends too. Anyone got something they want to share? Johnny, you sound like you got something, bro.
I don't.
You don't?
I do, but it's like towards me.
Go ahead, bro. Just share with the class.
I don't know if I want to, actually.
Is that personal?
We're sharing small groups.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. All right. Any of you ladies over there, you got anything that you've ever surprised a friend or a family with? Like, surprise, like this happened. Nothing? Okay, so I guess we just all live boring lives. Whatever. All right, any guys over here, you guys ever surprised your parents or your friends with something before? Like, could be like earrings or something. I don't know. Yeah, go ahead.
I told my mom I was gonna transfer my major.
Okay, and how'd your mom take that?
Back?
Right. Yeah. So oftentimes with other people, we can catch them off guard, but when it comes to catching God off guard, he ever isn't like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that was going to happen. Oops, my bad. Like, that's not a possibility with him. Like, he just knows. He also knows exactly what is true, good, evil, right, and wrong with perfect clarity. He knows morally what's supposed to happen and what isn't supposed to happen. He knows all moral realities. Sometimes we come across moral realities or situations where we're like unsure, right? I don't know what to do. I don't know if this is a good move or this is a good move or if this is actually bad or if this is good. God actually sees it with perfect clarity altogether. In addition, think about this. God knows everything that there is to know. So, you ever have a friend who's like super good at school and you're like, wow, I can't believe that they're so good at like 7, 8 different subjects. Like, the thing about God's knowledge is that he knows everything. He knows math, like he's got that covered. Like, any type of math that you've ever taken, linear algebra, multivariable calculus to addition, subtraction, whatever, like he's done it and he knows it, right? Whether it's history, whether it's science, whether it's biology, like he understands it completely and thoroughly. His knowledge is already complete. And so here becomes a question. And this is often associated with God's knowledge. If God knows everything, does that mean that we don't have free will? What do you guys think? If God knows everything that there is to happen, does that mean that there is no such thing as free will? Yeah.
I had a question about when you said God knows like the possibilities of
Yeah.
what will happen. Does he know which one will happen?
Yes. God knows the future.
So he knows like what could happen and then what will happen.
Yes. That's by definition omniscience, right? Everything, every possibility, every knowledge. Yeah. But yeah, so sorry, what was my question again, guys?
Free will.
Oh yeah, so does God knowing everything, does that mean that we don't have free will? What do you guys think?
We have free will.
I think we do.
I do.
Yeah. So it's like this, right? Like, if I know that some of you guys were going to show up to Thursday Bible study today, does that mean that I force you to show up? No. Like, you committed, and I just know that it's going to happen, right? But that's about it. So it's real simple when it comes to free will and God's understanding. We genuinely do have a free will. At this moment, I could pull my pants down, and that's free will. Not saying that I will, but that's genuinely free will, okay? At this moment, I could go up to one of you guys and punch you in the face, and that's genuine free will. At this moment, I could raise my voice, I could lower my voice, whatever, that's genuine free will. Our actions genuinely have consequences. The reason why I know that is because in the Bible, Jesus blames people for their actions. He says things like, you refuse to come to me that you may have life. He blames people. He never blames God's sovereignty. He blames people. He never blames God's knowledge. He blames people for their actions. That's very clear through Scripture. You're held accountable for your actions. So just because God knows about it doesn't mean that you don't have a real free will and that your actions don't have any consequences whatsoever. Now, can God cause you to change your will? Yes. You know what I mean? He could. Like, for example, let's say you say to yourself, I'm never going to get married. And then God puts in front of you a gorgeous young lady that you fall in love with. Like, I guess your free will got changed a little bit, right? It's like, oh, oops, there's this gorgeous young lady who just walked in front of you, and for some reason she's taken an interest in you. Wow, okay, well now all of a sudden your will can get changed, right? So can God change your will? Yes. Can God influence and affect your life? Absolutely. But you still do have that personal responsibility. So that's important to understand. Okay? So let's kind of get right to application. So if God knows everything, how does that change the way that we live? Number one, there should be a sense of fear. Okay? And fear is good. In fact, in the Bible, in Proverbs, it tells us that fear is the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. Meaning, you can't even begin to be wise unless you start to fear. Why is it healthy to fear God? Because if it's true that God knows all of our thoughts and all of our actions, there should be this sense of, hey, you know what? I'm going to be held accountable to God. Here's the thing. When you're younger, sometimes you can get away with doing stuff, right? Because guess what? Nobody's watching, right? Nobody knows. Does anyone have anything that they want to share that they got away with when they were younger and never got caught for? So what's something you got away with that you never got caught for? Yeah.
I used to in high school. I used to hack these Indian scammers.
Yeah.
Their social media accounts.
Yep.
And I took over their accounts their PayPal and whatever. I was just messing around.
Nice.
I never got arrested for that, I guess.
You never got arrested. Gotcha. Yeah. Josh, you were gonna say something?
I was gonna share Caleb's. I always saw him playing on the iPad when he wasn't allowed to. So he never got killed.
Nice. So you just snitched on the auditor, bro. That's crazy. Okay, Mike, you gonna say something?
Yeah, when I was younger, I stole one of my friend's toys, and then when he came over to my house to play, he was like, "Oh, dude, I had that same toy, but I don't know where it went. I think I might have lost it." I was like, "Oh, really?"
So never got caught for that. Yeah, so we do all sorts of things when we think that we won't get caught for it, right? And maybe you're too ashamed of the thing that you want to say, but you don't want to embarrass yourself with, right? And so that's the thing. If God knows, though, is there any hiding from God? No. There's absolutely no hiding. And it doesn't matter if you placed it in a corner where no one will ever find it. It doesn't matter if no one else was ever watching, because guess who was watching? God. Because God knows, because God sees, because God's present, right? So all of a sudden, this should scare you a little bit, and it should cause some fear in you, because you're like, God knows. You ever have this feeling of impending doom before when you get caught for something? You know what I'm feeling, right? Let's say you get in trouble and you're waiting for to be in front of the principal's office, or meet your principal. You're like, oh boy, I know it's coming, right? It's that sense of fear. But not only that, not only should it cause fear, but it should also cause you to appreciate God and to thank God that He sees everything. Because here's the thing too, as much as you should fear Him, it causes you to appreciate God that He does see. For example, let's say you do something nice for a friend and they don't even say thank you. And you're like, useless piece of crap friend, why did I get you this gift? Why was I nice to you? Whatever. Or let's say you do some good deed and no one ever sees, right? And you're like, man, no one recognizes me, no one sees me, no one says thank you, whatever. Guess who knows? God knows. So even if no one else sees, God knows. And that's beautiful, isn't it? It's the same thing when wrongs are done to you as well. Let's say that someone assaulted you, punched you in the face, or touched you inappropriately in some way, right? And you think to yourself, man, no one believes me. No one saw or experienced what I experienced. No one knows what I'm going through. Guess what? It's also really comforting, and it gives us a lot of reassurance that God knows, right? Let's say you got assaulted, but then your friend was there, and he knew what was going on, and he called the cops. Would you feel a little bit better? Yeah. Why? Because you got backup. You got someone who saw. And so just someone knowing, that's very, very powerful. So you got fear on one end, but on the other end, you got this gratefulness. God sees and knows what's going on. God knows the things that I do even when no one else sees. God knows the evil that happens to me even if no one else knows. In fact, right now, maybe you're struggling through life. Maybe you're depressed. Maybe you're cutting yourself. Maybe you're thinking about hurting yourself. Maybe you think to yourself, I'm a loser, I have no friends, blah, blah, blah. Like all this negative stuff, right? And you think, nobody knows me, man. No one gets me. No one understands. That's a lie. Because according to this truth of God's omniscience, who knows? God does. God does. It tells us in Scripture that even the numbers of hair on your head are numbered. Like, I don't even count that, right? Like, even if you're a very vain person, no matter how vain you are, do you ever go in front of a mirror and start counting your hairs? You got 1, 2, 3. Like, you ever start doing that? Even if you're, like, all about yourself? No. Even people who are psychopaths don't do that, right? But God knows the number of hairs on your head. That's how intimately He knows you. And that's great. That's awesome. You know what it means as well? It means that we never have to avenge ourselves. So sometimes you go through life and people wrong you, right? You go through life and people do stupid stuff. And, you know, nowadays in our world today, people say, don't worry, karma will get them. That's actually not biblically accurate. What's more biblically accurate is, don't worry, God will get them. I said this to Lynn earlier. I was like ranting about my brother because my brother's real stupid, right? And he's making stupid decisions and he's just like not a good person, right? And so I'm like, don't worry, God will judge him. It's really reassuring. You know, it's like, even if no one else is going to hold them accountable, who's going to hold them accountable? God is. It's all good. And so that's why it tells us in the Bible, beloved, never seek revenge for yourself, but leave it up to God, right? Never avenge yourself, but leave it up to God, because God knows, God sees, and God will be the one who executes justice and vengeance, right? On top of that, it should also fill us with great joy that God knows. You know, one of the greatest sadnesses that you can experience in this life is feeling that no one really gets you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ever feel like that before? Like, I remember a couple weeks ago, like, I was arguing with my boss at work. I was arguing with, like, Lynn at home. And then I was in the shower in the bathroom, like, man, no one gets me, bro. And I was just feeling like a lot of self-pity. You ever feel like that before? Like, no one gets me. No one really knows what's going on, right? You feel sad for yourself. And you're like, man, I wish I had a friend. Guess what? You know who knows? God knows. God gets it. God knows how you're feeling. God knows why you're feeling that way. God knows what you've been through. And there's a sense of companionship, right? If you do have a friend that really understands the most intimate parts of you, knows what you've experienced, knows your trauma, knows all the things that went bad in your life, do you have this sense like, hey, that person's a good friend? Yeah. Guess what? For us, that's God. In addition, it should cause us to have great peace in our life. You know why it should cause us to have great peace in our life, that God knows everything? Because if God knows everything, and it tells us in Scripture that God is out there for our good, and if God knows all the possible universes, but then He allowed this one to happen, you know what that means? It means that God chose this life for you. And that God has planned this life for you. And He knows what's to come. And if He promises us things like in Romans 8:28, that we know that for those who love God, all things work together for good, that's a beautiful promise. Because that means, I don't know what tomorrow holds, but if you're a believer, you believe it's good. Isn't that really reassuring? Like, tomorrow, I don't know what's going to hold. But for us as Christians, we're like, it's going to be good because God's in control, because God knows. God knows, and He has a plan for me, and He's for me. That's really deeply reassuring. And lastly, it should also cause us to worship God with obedience. God knowing everything should cause us to worship God with obedience. Remember we said here, like, hey, you want someone who's wise, you want someone who's smart. Here's the thing. Imagine if God was dumb. Would we listen to God? No. Imagine if God didn't understand basic math. 2 + 2 = 4. Would we listen to God? Probably not. Imagine if the things that God tells us to do is just unwise. Like, drive without placing your hands on the wheel, and, don't worry about that cliff, like it's all good. Like, imagine if it said that to us in the Bible. Like, would we want to listen to God? Not in particular. But because we know that God knows, and that God is all wise, and God is all knowing, and knows all possible futures, it should cause us to worship him with obedience, because we're like, God knows what's best for me. God knows what's optimal. God knows the best path forward. God knows what I should do. God knows the best and wise decision to make in any situation. As a result, do we trust God more? Absolutely. So, God is all-knowing. In Scripture, it shows us here in Psalm 139, you have searched me and know me. You know when I sit down and when I rise up. You discern my thoughts from afar. You search out my path and my lying down and are acquainted with all my ways. Even before a word is on my tongue, behold, O Lord, you know it altogether. You hem me in, behind and before, and lay your hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me. It is high. I cannot attain it. God knows you. God knows you. And that should cause you to repent and also believe in Jesus Christ. Because if you know yourself at all, you know that you've messed up. You know that you're a broken person. You know that you've sinned against God. You know that you do plenty of things that are offensive to God and hurts other people and hurts yourself. And you know that you need the grace of the Lord Jesus Christ. If God knows everything. And he does. He does. So this is also your opportunity to turn away from your sin and also trust in Jesus. Jesus knows everything about you, and despite knowing everything about you, he still loves you, he still died for you, he's still for you, he's still calling you to repentance and faith today. Isn't that great? Like, for me, I know everything about myself, and I don't think I deserve anything good. God knows everything about me and is like, here, have my son, Jesus Christ. That's a pretty good deal, isn't it? That's a pretty good deal. The question is, with God knowing everything about you and God sending his son, Jesus, for you, how will you respond to God? How will you respond? So, let's go and pray, and let's respond with a song of worship.
All scripture is quoted from the ESV.